Okay. As I was saying, last time we had your onboarding, we went over ERP,
Mhm.
kind of a little bit in terms of like where to look for certain information, and we went over renaming documents.
Yeah. Mhm.
So today, wanted to go over in terms of our Calyx point. So as I had mentioned previously, ERP is and Calyx point are two main programs that we are going to be using
Mhm.
in terms as a processor.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go over Calyx point today with you. So let
Okay.
me start sharing my
Brenda,
screen.
sorry,
Mhm.
I just have a few questions. When because I was watching over the what do you call this videos regarding the renaming of documents. I just have a few questions. I just jotted down in my Excel. So is it fine? It's only six. It's just that the acronyms I'm not familiar about it, like the LOE, DO/LP, also that CTC/CTD. I just
So
need a clear full
yeah,
understanding
so
about that.
our LOE, also you might hear as
Mhm.
LOX. It's the letter of explanation, meaning
Okay.
we have to, the underwriter will condition certain clarification from the borrower. Um, at a later training, I'll show you different examples of what the LOE is for. Our most common ones that we use, but the bar can write up a letter to explain a certain situation or certain scenario, and
Okay.
the underwriter will take it. And we use the LOE, or you can also hear, we don't use it, but you will also hear as LOX,
Okay.
and
Okay. Okay.
that's letter of explanation.
Mhm. Okay. Got it. So,
Um, the CPC, that
mhm.
is our clear to close, meaning that we've already worked on all the conditions that the underwriter had conditioned when they were
Mhm.
reviewing the file, and now we are clear. Everything has been pretty much cleared from them, and at this point, as long as we have all the TRID steps cleared as well, we should be able to issue loan documents for the borrower
Okay.
to sign.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So in order for us to get loan documents, we have to have our CTC.
Okay.
Again, as long as the TRID portion has also been cleared.
Cleared. Okay. And that DO/LP.
So that is what we call our findings. So let me share my screen with you.
Okay.
So for example, this one here, this is it's an LP. Um, Also, we refer to as our AUS. So it has the borrower's information.
Mhm.
So this assessment summary here, it has to be approved eligible or eligible accept. If it says ineligible or refer with caution, that means that there's something that the um, the file has. So either their DTI is not working, their income isn't picking up correctly, the liabilities isn't picking up correctly.
Okay.
Something is triggering for the file to not work. Again,
Oh.
so in this case, the LP has to have eligible accept. If it
Okay.
has ineligible or refer with caution, then we have to find out what that issue is. And if you
Okay.
scroll through here, it'll have details in terms of the file. So in this case, the employment, their assets, anything that their credit cards that if they're paying off something. Um,
Mhm.
if they require reserves, it'll show over here reserves to swap with their assets. So in this case, no reserves are required.
Mhm.
So the DU looks a little different. Let me pull up the DU real quick. So our DU, this is again, it's our findings.
Mhm.
It has approved eligible. And then it has the breakdown again of the loan. So the loan information, um, and then any risk and
Mhm.
terms of our income. So everything here, it has the breakdown of like
Okay.
why the file could work or it doesn't work.
Do we get this from website or customer will submit this or no? How do we get this file?
So these LP or DU findings, we get it off of our, we run it through our Calyx point.
Okay. Okay.
So DU is for our desktop underwriting. So that's the DU is when we get it from the underwriter. That's what they run.
Mhm.
When we run it, we call it DO.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But
I got it.
it's similar. It's the same thing essentially. Um, and then the LP is a loan prospect, I believe. Product,
No problem.
loan product.
Yes.
Yes. Um, Same thing. And a different training, I will show you how to run these. But right now, we're gonna just
Okay.
focus on being able to create a Calyx point from scratch.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Got it.
okay. And then what was the last acronym that you needed a little bit more clarification?
This LE and CD.
Our LE and our CD. So our LE is our loan estimate. We have these, actually both of these are part of our TRID documents.
Okay.
So when we submit the file, we issue our initial disclosures and we have an initial LE. So LE stands for loan estimate. So that's this right here. It has the borrower's information, what type of product we are working with, the loan amount, the rate, their payment for their principal and interest. And then if they're being impounded, it'll show the updated monthly payment here. So this payment is different from this one here because this is including this homeowner's taxes and insurance.
Okay.
Okay, it has a breakdown of their estimated closing costs and their cash to close. So how much money this borrower will need to bring in order for us to be able to close the file. It has all of a breakdown of their closing costs. So any fees that they are going to be paying through the loan or while they are working on the loan, it'll have it here. And then our CD is our closing disclosure. So I'm not going to get too into it, but our first CD is what we call our initial CD. It looks a little different than our loan estimate, as you can see, but it's very similar. So again, it has the borrower and loan information, the loan amount, rate, their updated payments. So once the file has been locked, this is the rate that should be appearing on their final loan documents.
Okay.
It can be different from their initial LE that they first received. Again, it'll have the breakdown of all their fees and again, their closing costs and their cash to close.
So this is like the final.
This is not the final. So this is the initial CD. The final CD is going to appear in the loan documents. So once we issue the loan documents, the CD showing in that document, that's what we call final CD.
Okay. Understood. I think that's all. Yeah. So
in a different training as well, we'll go a little bit more in depth in terms of our trade timeline and the documents, just so that you are a little bit more familiarized with it, as well as in terms of how we need to progress with our trade documents as our loan is progressing as well. So any other questions before I start?
None. Okay.
Okay, so you should have already downloaded and tried to log into our Calyx Point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to log in here. So this client here is actually a returning borrower. So the loan officer only provided a few documents. We have previous files that we worked with them, so I'll try to see if we're missing anything. I will look through those documents. But there is a list of documents that they are required to bring in order for us to review the file. So, but I'm going to open up a previous file that we worked with, the last one we funded, and then I'm going to open up another Calyx Point here. So we're going to copy and paste everything onto this new Calyx Point as we're going to try. So we're going to copy and paste most of the information in our previous file into our new file as we are trying to refinance our borrower. So
there's no option to duplicate another case.
No, you can't. There is, but we can't duplicate it because the previous files are different than what we're currently working on. So in this case, this file here was for our HELOC, but the file that we're going to do now, it's going to be for refinance, paying off the first and second lien. So you have to, in this case, because we have a previous one, we can copy and paste most of the information into our new file. But just note that you can't just create a duplicate file, unfortunately. Okay, so when you open up your Calyx Point, you're going to go to this blank one here. You can go borrower, hit OK, and it'll create a new file. Or if you go to File, New, Loan, Borrower, and it'll be the same thing. It'll pop this one, you hit OK, and it'll bring you to a blank application. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's important that you enter the borrower's information under the cell alt, not their home. So make sure you always put it into their cell.
So, okay.
Okay.
So this application is not in ERP.
So this borrower is not, because they, like I said, they're a returning client, and the loan officer only provided updated documents. But if they were in ERP, we would be copying this information out of ERP.
You just download and then upload it here in Calyx. Point.
Yes. Well, right now we are doing it from scratch,
Mhm,
because
mhm,
if we export it from ERP, not everything gets updated correctly. So until that gets fixed, right now we are going to be copying from ERP into Calyx Point, but you're going to be doing it manually.
Okay. So, sorry, another question. So, when do we, I mean, is it all the time or depending on the loan officer if she will apply it in, she will put it in ERP? So it's not required?
So, like I said, we're still transitioning into using fully ERP. So some LOs are not going to be using ERP just because they're not used to it. We are encouraging them to use ERP,
Mhm.
and eventually all the files should be coming from ERP.
Okay. So this
But right now we're still
ERP
in our
is,
transition phase.
so this ERP is just new? Is it a new
It's
app?
uh it's a fairly new thing that we're using, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so right here, because it is a refinance, and because um, where they're currently living is our subject property, I'm just going to copy from present address.
Okay,
If this was a purchase file, their present address and the property that they are purchasing should be different, and you're just going to type it in yourself.
okay, okay.
Okay. So this detached here is because this is a single family home. So to find out, you can Google the property address, or when you run our property profile,
Mhm.
it'll show up. So for refinances, we always run our property profile. Let me show you. So I think I forgot to send you your credential page yesterday too. So this you should have access to with their login.
Mhm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to type in the address here, and then we're going to pull up their property profile. So just off of the back, the owner here is our borrower. So we're going to click our Get Now. We're going to convert, and then we're going to download this. We're going to save it into our folder. So I just copied this, but just so you know, so right here, the number of years, if you scroll through this property profile and you find their transaction summary here,
Mhm.
you're going to find out when they first purchased the property. So in this case, it was back in, hmm, hmm, looks like 2022 here, but I know they've lived. Hmm. Okay, well, you would just go based off of the value here, or the date here,
Mhm.
and then you would just update it. So in
Okay.
this case, I'm just going to update it. So they've lived there since July of 2022. So this has to be 2 years. So we always want to verify the years that they've lived.
Mhm.
We need to have 2 years of history. So if this was less than the 2 years, then we would need to get their previous address information as well.
Mhm.
And then, oh, I was talking about how this attachment here. So this detached is considered for our single family homes. So if you see the top of the pages, it says what the property is. It says single family residential. So it's going to be an SFR. Always,
Mhm.
if it's a single family, you're going to put
Okay.
detached.
Okay.
Okay, the number of units is 1. And then our originator here, we're going to put, in this instance, we're going to put Peter, and then processor Gia. For training purposes, for now, I'm just going to put a rate here, random rate. We would need to either confirm with the loan officer what rate they
Mhm.
want to give, or run the loan sifter to get pricing.
Okay.
For now, since we're just inputting the information in Calyx Point before we're actually structuring, I'm just going to put in random information here. Okay? Or well, not
Okay.
random, but I'm going to copy a lot of this document.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave the same value. And then, so because this is, we're doing a refinance cash out, we're going to add, let me see. So the remaining balance. Okay, for now, I'm going to put 650, just so we can start getting a few information in terms of our LTV, DTI, and all that stuff. So on a refinance, we always want to complete this monthly payments for principal housing, for the property that if they currently own it. So if they're doing a purchase for an investment home and they own a primary home, we still have to complete this.
Okay.
So we're going to put first mortgage is going to be the principal and interest. In this case, the principal and interest for our first lien, which is going to be this Mr. Cooper here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we're going to add their principal plus their, their principal plus their interest. Their second mortgage here is their second lien that they have. We're going to, in this case, they only have interest, but again, you would add the principal and interest. We're going to add their homeowner's insurance. I should have started this before, but let's rename this real quick. Copy this. Okay. Homeowners insurance. That's our HY here. So we've got to put their monthly payment here. So their annual, let's find it. Okay, right here, this policy premium. So their annual is $1,300. We're going to divide that by 12 to get our monthly. And then the property taxes, we're going to pull up the property profile. And then on the first or second page in this instance, we're going to get this tax amount here and divide that by 12 as well. Onto our proposed, because they're keeping the same property, their homeowner's insurance should match, as well as their county taxes. If they have a condominium where they require an HOA, you're going to add the association fees.
Okay.
If our LTV here was over 80, we would also have to run a quote and add mortgage insurance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you complete most of the information in the first page, it should be transferred into the rest of the pages. Let's see. So he's married. If he's unmarried, make sure you always have to click no on this bottom here. In this instance, he's married. Address here, mailing, same as current address, and then his employment. Right now, I am going to add this income here, but it will need to be updated once we get the income documents from the borrower. At this point, we don't have their income documents, but once we do, we're going to update this here. But for now, I just want to make sure so we can check our DTI. If we have bank statements, we need recent bank statements. We would add it here. Just click new. They're a bank name, account type, the account number, and then the balance of the most recent account. So we need 2 months recent accounts, or 2 months recent statements for all of their asset accounts that they have. And this liabilities here, this is where we're going to import our credit report, which I believe we should have credit report. Exactly. Sure. Thank you. Let me see. We're going to. I want to say I do have a credit report. Okay, I'm going to use this one, but we will need to get an updated credit report for the borrower, as this one here is expired already. Actually, no, let me see that. He should have another one. Yeah, September, this one. Okay, this is the one we're going to use. So before you, if you need to import the credit report, if you click this, it won't let you until we save the file. So let's save. And then we're going to put his name, Luis Manos _ and then I'm going to put refi. Refi first and second. Okay, once it's saved, now we're going to request. We're going to select our credit agency. So we have KCB and Credit Technology. So make sure when you are running, you're going to import the file, you have the correct agency. So in this instance, it's KCB. So we're going to KCB reissue, and we're going to put our credit reference number. In this case, it's this one here. And then we're going to submit. You're going to put in your user credentials here. And then just hit run. It'll run it. Okay, once you're on here, you're going to ignore zero balance, and you're going to populate. Okay, we're going to close this here. So let me see. Okay, so anything that has a zero balance here, we need to, depending on what type it is, you need to put in the payment. So this one here is a collection. Because it's a medical conduction, I'm gonna omit it here, and I'm just gonna put 2056 here. Okay. This one here does not have our second lien, which is the FCI. So we're gonna add it here. So we're gonna put new. And then it's a mortgage account number. balance 140,000. Okay, so we're going to click this. We're gonna our two mortgages accounts. We're gonna pay off at closing, and this one here, pay off at closing. Okay, our mortgage here, our Mr. Cooper, which is our first lien here, is impounded. So if their account has interest, principal, and escrow account, it's going to be impounded. So we're going to click this includes taxes and insurance. Okay. And then we're going to go down to our section 3 here. So we're going to put all the properties that the borrower owns. In this case, they only have one property, which is our subject property. So let's click it. Make sure this is checked off because it is our subject property. And then we're going to input all the information. So our value was, then they're going to retain. It's their primary home, and they're going to keep it as a primary. If this statement here was not impounded, we would have to add their taxes and insurance, monthly tax and insurance, and add that here. If it has an HOA, we're going to put the HOA here as well. Okay, because it is impounded, I'm going to leave it blank. Okay, I'm going to save this, and now I'm going to click this match with liability. So I'm going to click our first one, our mortgage, and match it with. Let me see. Okay, so I closed everything out. So let me.
It's okay. It's okay.
So this is the one we're working on.
Okay.
And then let's open a new file. Okay. We were in importing our credit report. On here, we added the second mortgage. I don't know if that was something you saw still. And now we were trying to match it. So you can click on match property or match liability. This pop-up is going to show up, and now we're going to make sure it's highlighted. So the first one and our subject property is highlighted. We're going to click match, and then we're going to highlight the second one and also match it to our subject property because both of these mortgages belong to this subject property. I'm going to click OK. If you click on the property here, if you pull it up, it'll have the two accounts that we just matched the property to. Okay. Let's go to section 4 here. So again, everything here is already entered. We're going to write here are the year 1903, and then the prelim. Okay, and then just answer these questions. This distance is going to be yes, yes, primary. How would I do this? No. These should stay the same as the previous one, but um, in terms of the bankruptcy and foreclosure and this stuff in here, you can't find it through our credit report. So the credit report, if you scroll down here, has information regarding their bankruptcies and public records and all that stuff. Okay, now 7 and 8. They're not in a military. We're gonna match this. So, and then we're just gonna click internet here. Page 9 here. If we assign the loan officer and our bar information, it should have the updated information here.
Okay.
Okay, so that is all that we're gonna issue. So right now, we're still waiting on the income document. So I'm not sure if this is gonna be a non-QM or a full doc, or if we're gonna do a hard money loan. I'm still not sure. We're still waiting on income documents. So because this right now this DTI here is at 100, it's like very high. The income that they had in their previous file, they don't qualify for it. So we need, like I said, we need updated income documents so we can calculate the income accordingly so that this DTI is under 50 where we need it to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a cash out, we might be able to pay off a few credit cards here. But again, until we know for sure what their income is, we won't be able to play with the numbers and structure this accordingly. So until we get updated income documents, then I'll be able to calculate the income, and then we'll be able to go from there in terms of what the DTI actually looks like, whether we have to increase the if they have to increase the payoffs. So if they're going to pay off any additional credit cards apart from the two loans. Yeah. Any questions?
How much is the loan amount mentioned? I think I was not able
So
to
right
see that.
now, the loan amount I have is 650. But again, until we know for sure whether if we're going to pay off additional credit cards, this loan amount can change. Right now, I only have 650, which covers the 2 mortgages and a little bit more, like $20,000 more for cash back for the borrower. But it can change if they're going to pay off these 2 loans here. That's already 33,000 roughly.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
So far, no question.
No. Okay. So I'm gonna put both of these links into our Excel sheet. Did I give you access to the Excel sheet where I keep the recordings?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have access, but I think my sheet doesn't have the updated.
The previous one. Okay.
Yeah, previous one. Yeah.
I probably forgot to save it, so I'll relook into it and resave it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions in terms of renaming documents?
No, only that one that I have mentioned earlier. But I believe Gia sent me this Dennis Locke's case. I have sent her the documents for checking, but I did not get any feedback from her if I did it correctly or if I need to do something.
I see. Okay. So we're gonna start assigning you documents to start renaming.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be for our initial review, you're gonna be creating this Calyx point. Again, hopefully most of the information should be part of our ERP. If not, if it is a returning client, you can do the same thing I just did, open up both Calyx points, copy as much as you can into the new Calyx point. If it's a new file that is not an ERP or a returning file, you're going to have to go through the documents and update the information. So for example, if we're putting in the borrower's name, we're going to pull up their credit report or their driver's license, enter their name, date of birth, their social security. We have to get their social security card and enter that here. The contact information should come from the loan officer. Sometimes the loan officer will complete a 1003. Oh, kind of similar. This is the 1003. I think you're the one who had mentioned it. This 1003 is an old 1003. We no longer use this one here, but sometimes they'll provide a 1003 where you can just copy the information from this PDF onto this application. Usually the new 1003 that we are using will look like this. So this application, this Calyx point, is our 1003. So if we do have the 1003, they use the old one as well here. This is what the 1003 would look like.
Okay.
Okay. And then it'll have all the information. You can just copy from this PDF into our Calyx.
Okay.
Any questions?
So in ERP, if there are details already, I can just download it and import here in Calyx. But as you said
Not
earlier, it will not capture.
until yeah, it won't capture a lot of the information. So if you can try and do it, but just make sure if you do it, you go back into Calyx Point and update everything. You have to go through all of the pages and make sure you enter in all that information, that nothing is missing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's it for now because I'm also watching the other processors training videos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great help when it comes to this
Yes.
Calyx. So I'll just go back to that if I have any questions. I'll just again put it in my Excel, and then when they get into another training, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Linda.
Bye.
Bye.